Yo, what's going on, my people? It's your big homie Crooks the Great, aka CTG, and I'm back at you guys with another banger of an Undisputed video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about whether or not the new latest gameplay update for Undisputed made the game better or did it make it worse. Now, for those of you guys that didn't know and that are just catching up on it, we did get a pretty good sized gameplay update yesterday on Undisputed, and for a lot of people, we were waiting for this. We were literally like salivating in anticipation of this damn gameplay update coming out, because it was gonna fix a lot of the things that we've been asking them to fix. You know, they came out and said that they were gonna fix punch accuracy, you know, that they were gonna bring back the flash KO system, the counter windows for missed power punches was gonna be opened up a little bit more, and then on top of that, like bug fixes were done where we were missing shots on dazed opponents and all this good stuff. So yesterday it was released, I believe, like at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, and I got a chance to play it. I played it live on stream. For those of you guys that didn't catch it, my streams are still up, but I wanted to touch on whether or not, you know, the new gameplay update made the game better or did it make it worse. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Now, obviously there's good with the bad. The flash KO system being added back into the game, I feel like is a great thing. It's beautiful. You're not seeing it happen too randomly. It's only really happening when an opponent's stamina is either like damn near gone or later on in the fight where it would realistically happen. So I'm really enjoying that. I really am. I'm glad that they added the flash KO system, because, you know, now you're never really out of a fight. You never are. Even if you're down on the scorecards, you see a lot less, you get a lot more hope that you can finish a fight if you start to push the pace, or, you know, your opponent gets lazy with their shot selection and stuff like that. There's that threat and there's that hope, if you're the fighter looking for it, that you'll get that flash KO. So that's something that I'm really glad got added back to the game, and it really makes the game experience overall that much more better. Now, the punch accuracy, I feel like punches are landing at a higher rate in this patch, but the thing that it kind of goes hand in hand, good and bad. Okay, because punch accuracy, although I wanted it, and punch tracking, I wanted it to be fixed, which for the most part it is really bringing out a lot of body spammers, a lot of body jab spammers specifically. You see a lot more people, even when you land a combination, even if you're not throwing power, you're throwing a regular combo. Damn, I don't know why that was so hard for me to get out, but if you're throwing a regular combination, people will literally just try to close the distance with a body jab. And due to like the counter windows, if you are throwing a power shot, most of the time, not most of the time, but sometimes it'll actually come out as a counter strike. So that's a little bit of an issue. But overall, the punch accuracy, when the connection is solid, and I'm gonna get into this a little bit later, but when the connection is solid and you're not getting a crap ton of desync, punch accuracy actually did get fixed. And it is actually a welcome sight, man, because your punches are landing a lot more frequently and a lot more consistently than they were previous to the patch. So I'm glad to see that, as well as like the bug fixes. You know, you don't see a lot of punches going over the head. Like I said, when the connection is solid and you're not getting desync, that tends to not happen a lot of the time, as well as some other bug fixes. Let me pull it up here. Now the next one that we're gonna go into that was supposed to be fixed, that I didn't see actually getting fixed, is shots landing on dazed opponents. Now, for those of you guys that don't know exactly what that meant in the patch notes, it means when you have an opponent in a dazed state, when you hurt them and they have that blue screen up that lets you know that you're in a health event, you know, that you're able to land shots more consistently to get knockdowns on opponents. And right now, I honestly just don't see that. I don't see, it's still the same thing that it was previous to the gameplay update. You're still missing a lot of shots. You're not landing frequently enough to drop an opponent. You're having to get 2 to 3 stuns in a fight just to knock down an opponent if you don't get a flash knockdown. And that was something that I felt like was a really, really big deal when they said that they fixed it, so that it's not as consistent as we were hoping. Is really disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, because you still are stunning and wobbling people, sometimes multiple times in a round and not being able to get a knockdown. It can really shape out who wins a fight, especially if you're behind on the scorecards. Getting a knockdown and getting a free 2 points, like that could really make or break a fight. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not down, getting a lead like that can really put an opponent in a bad situation. But yeah, I don't feel like that's really changed too much. So yeah, that was something that I was hoping would be adjusted, but that I just don't see, to be honest with you. They said that they fixed the power body uppercuts. That's going to be the next thing that we're going to touch on, is the power body uppercuts. I don't see that. It looks like the power body uppercuts are still hitting at a ridiculous range. And that was something that I was wondering if it actually came through, if it was going to be a big game changer, but it hasn't been adjusted really, in my opinion. I'm still seeing guys launching off power uppercuts with the longer range fighters at a quick speed and really getting those damaging shots in, and it's really still an issue. But that leads me, kind of ties into what I'm talking about, what I'm going to talk about next, which is, the power punches being modified and the counter window being open. The power punches now, the recovery frames on them seem like they're a lot longer, especially on whiff, which is what opens that counter window. So it's nice to see that the recovery frames are a little bit more expanded out to give you that counter window to be able to capitalize on it if your opponent is whiffing power shots. But at the same time, the counter window might be a little bit too big. You feel what I'm saying? The recovery frames might be a little bit too big, might be a little bit too much. I'm not gonna lie to you, because even if you land a successful power punch, an opponent can just come right back and hit you with a power shot and potentially even stun you off of that. So that's a little bit of an issue that I didn't really think was going to be an issue, but that really is an issue in the game right now. We might need to shorten up the recovery frames on the power shots, just by maybe like a frame or so, because right now, power shots I feel like are kind of being nerfed, but at the same time how they're nerfing it by opening up the recovery frames that much kind of is counterintuitive, because even if you do land a power punch and you time it out correctly, you leave yourself vulnerable to eating a power shot coming back. So that's something that I feel like needs to be addressed later on. But overall, I'm happy with the counter window being opened up for the power punches. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the biggest thing that I learned from the patch, and the biggest area in which the gameplay update did make the game actually worse, is the desync. For some reason, ladies and gentlemen, the desync is just running fucking wild. It is running wild right now, ladies and gentlemen. It really, really is. It's terrible. And for those of you guys that have been watching my channel for quite a long time, I've told you guys, it doesn't matter what they do to fix the punch accuracy. Every single shot could land. But if you don't fix the desync, all of the systems, the punch accuracy, the punch tracking, the slips, the movements, the diagonal dodges, the pulls, all of this stuff is not gonna work the way that it's supposed to because of desync. And you guys are seeing that a lot of the time in Undisputed right now. Desync is making what should be a great gameplay update turn out to be really not as useful or as effective as we all wish it would be. It really, really is. And I harp on this a lot because I want them to try to do something to fix it. It is the #1 enemy of every single Undisputed online player. Desync is absolutely terrible. It really, really is. And we know what causes it. It's the peer-to-peer connection. You know, and for those of you guys that don't know what that means, is it's internet to internet, which is fine if you're playing somebody in the US. If you're playing somebody from the East Coast and you're on the West Coast, that's not gonna create that big of desync unless their internet is bad. But if you're in the US and you're playing somebody from across the pond in the UK and it's peer-to-peer, it don't matter how good of internet you have, you're gonna get a lot of desync. And that's a lot of what's happening. That's a lot of what's happening. The player base just isn't based in North America. It's based in, you know, they have fan bases in the UK. They have fan bases in Europe. They have fan bases. Boxing is a worldwide sport. It's not just an American-based sport. It's a worldwide sport. So we need to have dedicated servers, but because they're not able to have dedicated servers right now, obviously, they need to figure out some way to make desync better than what it is. Because right now, desync is causing a crap ton of problems, man. And for those of you guys that don't know, that's what's causing ghost punches. That's what's causing punches to land even when you feel like you're timing out, like your directional dodges. If somebody's going with a lot of jabs and you sidestep and you feel like, damn, like I really timed that out, what I thought was perfect, but I still got hit. There's a lot of that. Or a lot of right now what's been happening to me as well is double hooks, double power hooks coming out. That's a cause of desync. You feel what I'm saying? There's a lot of issues that desync causes that really need to be adjusted in the game. And if they're somehow able to make that better, you know, I feel like the gameplay experience online would actually be, it'd be night and day. It really would. It'd be night and day different, and you guys would see that. So I'm hoping that they're able to go in and actually do something to combat the desync, because that's, like I said, it's the biggest enemy to the game right now. But overall, in my opinion, did the gameplay update make the game better or did it make it worse? It made it better, but it really just pointed out the super big flaw that is in the game right now, which is the desync. But overall, in terms of the patch, when the game is going good and there's not a lot of desync and stuff like that, it did make the gameplay better, in my opinion. It did. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that the gameplay is better after this latest update? Or do you guys think, you know, it didn't really make that big of a difference? Let me know in the comment section exactly what you guys think. I'm going to be trying to respond to every single video or every single comment that's posted up on this video. But that's it for me, my people. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to slap that subscribe button as well as slap that like button. It would be much appreciated. So that way this video does get tossed into the YouTube algorithm and more people get to enjoy the great content that I have for you guys here on the channel. But until next time, my people, take it easy, be safe, enjoy the rest of your guys' day, afternoon, evening, depending on where you guys are watching this from, and I will see you guys in the next video.